I remember years ago when I went to South by Southwest, the head of social media, this guy who totally out of central casting, the head of social media for Whataburger, he looks exactly like you think he would look. You know, like a total, dude kind of with a flat cap, flat brimmed hat and all that, Whataburger swagged out everything. He was a funny cat. He was Mr. Popularity because I think he was giving out coupons and, people are in the middle of Texas.
Oh, wow.
It was totally funny. Anywho's.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. You'll have to, tell me how long you waited and how good it is.
Just in case we might not record next week.
Yeah.
I'll be doing a live remote from Whataburger.
I'll be calling your car.
Yeah. Hey everyone, it's Elliot.
And Todd. Welcome to Two Designers Walk Into a Bar, an ongoing conversation about pop culture and iconic design.
There are some new tablecloths here in the bar, which has gotten us thinking about fabric patterns.
Because you're thinking about redoing your home office?
No, because I'm wondering if I can wipe the wing sauce off my hands without the stains being noticed.
Oh, brother. Well, today we're going to be talking about a couple of patterns that, if you don't personally have them in your wardrobe, you likely know someone who does. We've brought in the funky character known as Paisley.
And the shady character known as Camouflage.
So ask the bartender to mix up a couple of Army and Navies.
Because we're going to be having a rap session. Get it? Back here in the bar. That's rap with a W, Todd.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Maybe they have raps. Maybe we can ask for that as a snack.
Okay. All right. Well, that would be too perfect, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Hey, you want to do a quick game again?
Oh, boy. Okay, sure.
Okay, let's see between us how many patterns we can name in 30 seconds without naming Camouflage or Paisley. Okay?
Yeah, I would say we have a distinct advantage with those two. Okay.
All right, I'll start. When I start, then I'll start the timer. Houndstooth.
Polka dot.
Stripes.
Tartan.
Plaid.
That is plaid. Tartan is plaid.
No, they're different.
Okay. Quatrefoil.
What was that?
Quatrefoil, like four-leaf, like clover sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Herringbone.
Argyle.
Oh, gosh, that was good. Dang. Okay.
I'll give you one. Gingham. How about that?
Oh, yeah, gingham. Yeah, because it's a form of plaid, right?
Yeah, but it's its own thing.
Yep. Well, we didn't do as good as I thought we would on that.
Well, one of us did.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I'll accept your defeat.
That's not exactly where I was going with that comment.
All right. So this is, kind of a simple topic, but, can go kind of deep, right? So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why don't you kick us off about telling us a little bit about fabric patterns?
Yeah. So this was your idea, disclaimer. This
was my idea.
Todd's idea, everybody.
Todd's idea.
And we got into this, and oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's start by describing just like what is a fabric pattern.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about that, just to put some guardrails on this thing.
What are the rules of the game that we're talking about in fabrics?
Yeah. Like what was fair game for us to take a look at?
Right.
So really, the decorative designs apply to fabrics through various techniques, and that can include weaving, printing, jacquard, embroidery, and more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these patterns can range from simple lines and shapes to really elaborate paintings. I mean, think about things like aloha shirts, for example, right?
Oh, yeah. Floral. That's another pattern.
Yeah. Chinoise or however you say that, right? That Asian pattern,
I didn't realize you spoke French.
Yeah, I do. So from simple designs to intricate motifs, from classic styles to contemporary looks, really every fabric pattern carries a unique story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I had a thought to kind of take this back to graphic design for a second. When I was browsing through all of these different fabric patterns, and I was trying to think about what one to dig into and tell a story about. I had an aha moment. This is my design nerd aha moment.
Okay.
And that really is that, I mean, fabric in and of itself is a utilitarian thing. I mean, there are certainly different types of fabric, right? Just like there are different, let's say, types of paper.
Right.
But in my mind, a fabric pattern is very similar to a typeface, right? In that, at a very basic level, all typefaces communicate. You set the word cat or dog or whatever in a certain typeface, and it can communicate differently. It can be very serious or very playful. And I see these fabric patterns as being very much the same way, right? You're not going to wear an aloha shirt to a funeral. I mean, maybe to a cool person's funeral, but probably not, to like your grandmother's funeral. Unless your grandmother is in Hawaii, and then you're on your own, whatever. Okay, Todd, so let's jump in and let's talk about camouflage, because boy, oh boy, did I open a can of worms.
Okay.
It was the snakes jumping out of the peanut brittle when I started
that was one of those, huh?
Yeah, it was like...
snuck up. You didn't even see it because it was camouflage.
Exactly. It was a total sneak attack. Okay, so again, let's define what camouflage is at first, just to give listeners a framework here.
Okay.
So when we're talking about camouflage, what we mean here is any combination of materials, coloration, or illumination for concealment, either by making animals or objects hard to see, or by disguising them as something else, right? I mean, this is pretty basic, right? You think about nature, and there are all sorts of inspirations, right? A leopard's spots or a katydid's leaf-like wings. A katydid is, of course, an insect, right? So we're familiar with some of these things. But camouflage is a pattern widely used in military applications, typically characterized by colors from natural environments like land, sea, and air, basically wherever there's military activity, right?
Yeah.
So since we're talking about fabric, I'm going to keep this conversation largely centered around that. Otherwise, we would be in the bar for hours.
You mean in the bar for hours talking about this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because we're normally here for hours anyway.
Okay. So where does the term come from?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is very interesting. So in World War I, the French...
I'll be the judge of that.
Oh. No, I'm pretty sure it happened in World War I.
Oh, no, I meant... Please continue.
I know what you meant.
The listeners want you to continue.
Yeah, you hear that? That's their eyes rolling because of your interruptions. So in World War I, the French army formed a camouflage corps led by a painter named Lucien Victor Guérin de, and I'll butcher this name, Savoia, Scevola. And he employed artists known as camoufleurs to create schemes such as tree observation posts and covers for guns. And there, if you go onto the Wikipedia page for camouflage, you'll see sketches for this. So it's sort of crazy. I mean, it's sort of like, in a way, hunting blinds, right? It's these containers that look natural that people hide inside. And the term camouflage probably comes from camoufleur, which is Parisian slang meaning to disguise, and may have been influenced by camouflet, that's F-L-E-T, a French term meaning smoke blown in someone's face. So I thought that was great. Yeah. Well, there's no smoking in the bar now, so you're safe.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not challenging you to a fight. But I thought that was actually a really brilliant metaphor, don't you think so?
Oh, yeah. It does. It is. Yeah, it kind of describes it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's putting a shade between you and the subject.
So camoufleur was later adopted to mean camouflage officer, someone who designs and implements military camouflage. So that's kind of wild, right? So someone in charge of disguise. And this reminds me, so there are going to be some artists mentioned throughout this story, and in fact, there are many, many more camoufleurs than we could possibly give credit to in this episode. So we'll have a link to the full list to give due credit on our episode page. So military buffs, before you come at us, we know that this is truncated, all right? But Todd and I have to eat our wraps and our wings and drink more drinks after this.
That's right. We can't sit here all night and list all the camoufleurs that we know because we all know them all. I mean, it's almost ridiculous that we would even have to bring it up. Right?
Well, it would be rude to talk with our mouths full, I think.
Okay. Well, good point.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to fabrics, jungle camouflage is one of the most classic camouflage patterns, right?
Yeah.
And it consists of irregular blotchy shapes and shades of green, yellow, brown, and black. But additionally, there are artistic variants such as modern digital camouflage and tiger striped camouflage with animal-like characteristics, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that like if you're fighting tigers or something and they're trying to shoot at you and you got to wear tiger camouflage?
I mean, we've been in the thick of it in the jungle. You and I have been in there fighting tigers, so you know what it's all about.
Now I'm glad we had our tiger flage.
Yeah, I mean, Eye of the Tiger, right? Okay.
There you go.
Well, so doing my research, distilling this down, there are really what I'll refer to as 5 eras of camouflage. Okay.
Oh, wow. You should go on tour and call it the Eras Tour or something like that. I should.
I think that might already be taken.
Oh, well, next time.
Yeah, my camo speaking when I do my TED Talk tour about
on
camouflage. Yeah, that's right. Where is this guy? I can't see anyone. Just pop up randomly in the audience.
Why is that podium talking?
That'd be amazing. Okay, so let's start before 1800. So, yeah, this is a long time period. So camo is a relatively modern invention, and we'll get to why in just a few minutes. So in this era, before 1800, ship camouflage was used occasionally in ancient times. So pirate ships were sometimes painted blue-gray for concealment. So there was a shade of sea green called Venetian blue that was used in the Gallic Wars when Julius Caesar sent reconnaissance boats to gather intelligence along the coast of Britain. And the ships were painted entirely in this bluish-green wax, including the sails, ropes, and the crew. So everything was
the
painted.
Crew was painted?
Yeah. They had makeup and clothes. And so, like, basically, you didn't want to see anything. You know, it's sort of like, don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes, right? Like, this is pretty... I mean, I guess they did have telescopes and things like that. So...
But, God, they couldn't find each other on ship, could they? They'd be like, hey, have you seen Jack? I'm sorry. Why are you talking to a barrel?
Little known fact. Later inspiration for the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, there you go. That's where Blue Man Group started.
All I hear is all this drumming.
Okay, so that's one.
Yeah.
One era.
Okay, so now let's get into the 19th century. So the development of military camouflage was driven by the increasing range and accuracy of guns. This makes all kinds of sense when you think about it. In particular, the replacement of the inaccurate musket with weapons such as the Baker rifle, which you could actually aim with some consistency.
Okay.
And that made personal concealment in battle essential. And a study in 1800 by the English artist and soldier Charles Hamilton Smith provided evidence that gray uniforms were less visible than green ones at a range of 150 yards. So they were actually studying different types of camouflage in 1800, so, 225 years ago.
Okay, wow.
So even though the British were the quote-unquote redcoats during our Revolutionary War, they were the first ones to figure this out, right? So we always hear about Native Americans training American soldiers, and they were hiding, and the Tories were marching in line, but that really wasn't entirely true.
Okay.
And 2 Napoleonic war units of the British Army were the first to wear these rifle green jackets. And later, Todd, in the war that you and I love to talk about, the Civil War, rifle units in the Federal Army similarly wore green jackets. When I say Federal Army, I mean the winners.
You mean the Union? The Union,
yes.
Yeah. Because the Confederate Army was wearing wool coats or something like that in the middle
They were
of
too
summer.
Busy dropping dead from heat exhaustion. They should have been having
the Confederate Army. The Confederate Army was wearing like Dale Jr. T-shirts.
They're wearing NASCAR shirts and tap out the MMA wear. Yeah, they were too busy.
Don't send letters, people. I'm Southern. I'm talking about myself. Don't send letters. It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
The first British Army unit to adopt full khaki uniforms was the Corps of Guides in India.
Oh.
And by 1896, the khaki drill uniform was used everywhere outside of Europe, and by the Second Boer War in 1902, it was used throughout the British Army. So one of the reasons I found out that this started in India was because khaki uniforms were just cooler. They just reflected the heat a little bit better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that when they also had the pith helmets and things like that you see, or was that an African adventure thing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, Dr. Livingston, I presume. That's what I always think of whenever I see a pith helmet. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so now we have 2 eras down. Where are we on the big eras of camouflage?
Okay, let's get into World War I. How about that?
Well, somebody has to.
May as well be us. Okay, so the French tree thing I mentioned earlier happened during World War I. And if you've seen posters or actual World War I uniforms, they were still solid neutral earth tones during this time. But the Italians, Todd, always leaders in fashion,
always
created what they called tello mimetico, the first mass-produced camo pattern.
Okay, all right.
You know, so they were on the runways in Milan with that.
They were, yeah.
But there's something else that I find amazing, and this is sort of a military version of your Paisley psychedelia, if you will. So
okay.
I'm going to break my earlier rule about fabrics because I really feel I need to talk about ships.
Okay. Like you talked about painting ships earlier, so...
I did. Well... Buckle up.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what dazzle camouflage is? Have you ever heard of that?
Dazzle camouflage?
Dazzle camo. I mean, I'm not talking about you on the dance floor covered in glitter.
I mean, I've seen some bridal parties in Nashville that have been wearing some dazzle rhinestone camouflage.
Okay.
But no, I don't. No, educate me.
Okay. Well, Todd, I brought a photo with us to the bar today I want you to take a quick look at.
Okay, let me look. Oh my. That's considered camouflage?
Isn't that awesome?
I mean, are you hiding in a herd of zebras or?
Yeah. So let's talk about what this is, and we'll put this on our episode page, of course.
Yeah.
So a little bit of backstory here. As the range of naval guns increased, ships were painted gray all over. So this is at the beginning of the war.
Uh-huh.
But in April 1917, when German U-boats were sinking a lot of British ships with torpedoes, the marine artist Norman Wilkinson devised this dazzle camouflage. Okay, so let's talk about this. It consisted of complex patterns of geometric shapes in contrasting colors, interrupting and intersecting each other.
Uh-huh.
And it paradoxically made ships more visible, to your point, your reaction,
uh-huh.
but they were harder to target.
Oh.
And this is because, in Wilkinson's own words, dazzle was designed, quote, not for low visibility, but in such a way as to break up her form and thus confuse a submarine officer as to the course on which she was heading. So basically, what he did was he made the shape of the ship through these angles and contrasting colors so crazy, you couldn't get a beat on it because you couldn't tell if it was coming or going, and so you couldn't make any predictions about where it was traveling.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm following the logic of that, but if you're out in the middle of an ocean and you see like this gigantic geometric thing floating, wouldn't you just aim at that?
I guess, but I mean, if you know, it's sort of like throwing a football. I think you got to know where the receiver's going, and then you throw the ball to that spot, right?
Oh, okay.
This isn't like a heat-seeking missile or something that could just follow.
You're right. It's like, because they probably, to be effective, I mean, all the times I've shot torpedoes, this is what I've done. You probably have to aim at a particular
all
place.
Of a sudden, there are all kinds of visuals in my head that I wish were somewhere else.
Okay. Well, why don't we move on? Because that was 3 eras of patterns.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into World War II.
Okay.
Isn't this your favorite war, Todd, I think?
You know, back-to-back World War champions.
That's right. It's like Rocky II. Okay, so things got moving during World War II. And in the U.S., we had a pattern called frog skin. It was also known as duck hunter.
Oh, okay.
And it was this reversible 5-color. Are you thinking about that? Was the video game? Wasn't that Duck Hunt? You remember that Atari game? Yeah. It was an arcade game.
Honestly, when you said frog skin, I have to admit, I heard foreskin, and I was like, I'm not understanding that one, but keep going.
Oh. Man, we're going downhill quick.
We are like a boat painted like a zebra. We are way off track.
I think we're like a boat with a hole in it.
Okay. All right, tell me about
we're a boat that a U-boat
Skinner.
has detected and hit directly. So this frog skin pattern or duck hunter pattern, it was this reversible 5-color jungle pattern on one side and this 3-color beach print on the other. And it was primarily used by the Marines and actually remained in use by them into the 60s. Okay. So this is on the American side. And then on the German side, we had what was called the Flecktarn pattern and the Woodland pattern. And the former was more uniform-sized blotches, not like uniform meaning an entire uniform, but like consistent-sized blotches,
equal,
yes, of different greens with some browns mixed in. And then the woodland color was more like a Jackson Pollock painting a little bit. It was more drippy, had a wider tonal range, including colors like terracotta and black, in addition to some different greens.
So what about the dazzle camouflage with the ships?
Well, Todd, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but at this point, it's largely over.
They lost too many ships.
Yeah, I guess. Or they ran out of white and black paint.
Maybe that's what,
They were too busy mixing it to make gray. But they did stuff like painting the bottoms of airplanes blue and the tops of them earth tones. So when you were looking up, all you saw was blue. And when you were looking down from up above, all you saw was an earth tone.
Yeah, that's why sharks are colored the way they are, because if you are looking up, you won't see them because they're white, and if you're looking down, they're gray, and you won't see them.
Who painted the sharks?
Sharkflage, duh.
Oh, well, who painted the jets?
I don't know. You tell me.
If we hear snapping fingers, we should run. All right.
So that's 4.
Yeah. Okay, so for the 5th and final era, we'll go, this will be pretty big. We'll just basically wrap our arms around post-World War II to present day.
Okay.
So camo design around the world really took off after World War II, and this kind of makes sense, right? I mean, it was a world war. You had a bunch of different militaries. Then you had the Cold War right after that and all these other skirmishes. So, Todd, in the interest of time, I'm going to simply stick with a couple of United States patterns that I think most listeners are likely familiar with.
Okay. Hit us with them.
All right, so first let's jump into the Vietnam era.
Okay.
So this is the camo design that's in my head. When someone says camouflage and they're talking about a fabric pattern, this is what I think of.
Okay.
Now, I remember, I think I was in middle school, Todd, when for a little while camo shirts, like camo t-shirts, not like Real Tree or anything like that, but just your standard military issue. This is like sometime in the 80s, was really popular in my middle school. So I may have owned a camo t-shirt or two.
Okay, well, good. You were ready to head off to whatever war was not happening in the mid-80s.
I was,
right?
The Cola Wars were happening.
Oh, well, you know what? That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were some dance battles going on, too.
Right, yeah. Some popping and locking going on that.
Yeah, that's where you use your dazzleflage.
100%. I had my boombox and my camo, and I was ready to go.
Yeah.
So this camo design consists of 4 colors printed in an interlocking pattern. And it was initially produced in a green dominant colorway consisting of large organic shapes in olive green and brown, black branches, and light green leaf highlights. And shortly after it was first fielded in Vietnam, a brown dominant scheme with the light green replaced by light tan was introduced. So we'll put this on our episode page, of course, and people can check these out. Now, this pattern is called the ERDL, or maybe ERDL, but I'll just say ERDL pattern because it was created by the U.S. Army's Engineer Research and Development Laboratories in 1948. Yeah, ERDL. And it began to be issued to elite reconnaissance and special operations units in Vietnam in early 1967 and was then later used throughout the war. And an enlarged version of this same pattern later became the woodland pattern adopted by the U.S. Army. So, when you look at military movies from that era, this is typically the pattern that you see.
Okay, yeah. Definitely looks like that time.
Yeah.
You think 60s, it's 70s when you see that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's jump into the second one, and that's known as the universal camouflage pattern.
Okay.
So this is the pixelated pattern used by the U.S. Army from 2005 to 2019 in places like Afghanistan and Iraq.
Uh-huh.
And it's this 36-inch square pattern that's stepped and repeated. So you've probably seen this one. It looks digital. Yeah. It looks sort of Minecrafty, right?
Yeah, why is... Okay, I've always wondered why that was like that.
Yeah, because you got to be thinking, like, this doesn't seem natural at all, right? It seems the opposite of natural versus the ERDL pattern, right? Okay, so how did this come about? It turns out laboratory and field tests conducted from 2002 to 2004 showed a pattern named, quote-unquote, all-over brush provided the best concealment of the patterns that were being tested. However, this pattern was actually from a combination of the Canadian disruptive pattern, so Todd, our friends to the north.
Oh, good. Borrowing from the Canadians.
That's right. So a Canadian design, and then the Marine Corps' MARPAT or MARPAT pattern. And it was then recolored based on 3 universal colors, which is a sand color and then a couple shades of green developed in the Army's earlier tests. So that's how this came about. So it's really this composite of the Marines, the Canadians, and then the Army. So it was this mishmash of data. And they tested a bunch of stuff. Again, we could totally go into this. If people are interested, we will have a link to an article on our episode page if you want to know the pedigree and deep dive into all of these different camo tests and everything. Yeah, it's bonkers.
Wow. Yeah. Whew. All right, so that's 5. So it sounds like the last one, they gathered a lot of data from different sources and then just sort of made their own. Yeah. Out of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy cow. I had no idea that camouflage had such a colorful history.
Clever. Speaking of color, Todd, check out how colorful my coaster is.
Why are you telling me about that?
Well, the fact that I can see it without moving my glass means it's time for the next round.
Oh, subtle.
Yeah, I call it my Canadian disruptive pattern technique. Nice, but effective.
We'll be right back. Hi. We want to take a moment to mention that if you're enjoying this episode, we have an archive of topics ranging from the Olympics to movie posters.
Think Ghostbusters.
Iconic images.
Think Bigfoot.
Punk music.
The Ramones.
Saturday morning cartoons.
The Pink Panther.
And failed products like OK Soda. Visit our website at twodesignerswalkintoabar.com for full episode notes and visuals, the latest blog content, and to sign up for our newsletter.
Follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Find the links on our website or search using the phrase 2 designers walk into a bar.
Most importantly, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more people like you find podcasts like this.
And tell a friend about us. Send them a link to our podcast from your listening platform of choice.
And if you're inclined, buy our merchandise. Stickers, coasters, magnets, t-shirts. We're designers. We make good stuff, and it helps support the show.
Get in touch. Use the contact form on our website or send an email to hello@twodesignerswalkintoabar.com.
We read every message we get. Honest.
And we're available for speaking gigs. Email us to learn more.
Okay, now back to the bar.
Okay, Todd, so I talked about Camouflage and all the amazing things going on with it. Very, very colorful, very, very storied history.
I could barely find you.
Well, yeah, you probably barely find the narrative thread running through everything I was throwing at you. But let's switch gears. Speaking of things that are a little bit crazy, a little bit disruptive, you brought Paisley into the bar. And I meant to compliment you on your shirt, but then I took a hard look at it and I decided against it.
Okay.
Because Paisley, I can honestly say I don't think in my entire life I've ever worn it. You know what? That's not true. I think I may have worn Paisley boxer shorts at some point in time.
Well, I'm just going to put this out there. If you're wearing camo and I'm wearing Paisley, and they come in to recruit us, like to go off to war, they're not going to find me.
Well, let me just say this. If there's a bar fight and there's a guy wearing camo fighting a guy wearing Paisley, guess what team I'm on?
Well, you never know. But yeah, Paisley, man, what a rabbit hole of weirdness and culture clashes and quirky stories. So let's dive in a little bit on the origins. This is, Paisley's been around for a minute, Elliot. Mm-hmm. It comes actually from Persia, not Scotland, as you probably think. And we have evidence of it showing up in patterns as early as 200 to 650 CE. So long time ago, way long time ago. I imagine first there were like the pattern of wheel, and then there was Paisley.
Yeah.
So that's how it kind of goes. Okay. So
I got to be honest with you, man. I just see like protozoa. It always just looks like a slide under a microscope to me. It's very bacteria looking.
Well, I don't see that in what I've found, but it sort of could be representative of other things. It's called actually a boda, which is the Iranian. I'm sorry. I think boda might be Indian, by the way, which means shrub or almond. Anyway, it might represent a date palm shoot. Either way, it's the things that it represent all sort of add up to a sacred symbol of life and eternity. And some Paisley scholars think that think the boda may actually represent the flame of Zoroastrianism, which is a ancient Iranian religion, which is like this flame curling in the wind, because it was used, like long time ago, ancient Iranian religion. So shrub or eternal flame, Paisley becomes one of the very first emojis.
Maybe it was the burning bush from the Bible. Maybe it was both.
Well, it could. Well, it could be, because that was an area. That's where the Garden of Eden was supposedly.
It's all coming together, Todd.
It is.
We're cracking the code in this podcast.
It took us 2 podcasters to bring this together. We should write a book about Leonardo da Vinci and the Mona Lisa and Paisley.
Okay.
Anyway.
One of us has to have a really terrible haircut when they make a movie about it.
Oh, you got that one nailed.
That's right. I'm looking at him right now.
All right. So Paisley started showing up in these shawls created in India, fine woven shawls called Kashmiri shawls. They carried the Paisley pattern.
Okay.
And they were prized by royalty and super rich people. They were sort of the must-haves for fashionable European women, mainly thanks to Napoleon's soldiers bringing them back home in 1799.
Now, were these made from silk? Is this kind of the Silk Road? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, these were made from silk. It's believed that a single shawl could take years to make. They were just that fine.
Okay.
And it's rumored that Napoleon's wife, Josephine Bonaparte, actually owned 400 of them. So, girl had a closet full of Paisley shawls.
Now I know who inspired Imelda Marcos and her shoes.
And Prince, right? So.
Yeah, he probably had. Yeah, who had more shoes, Prince or Imelda Marcos?
I think Prince had more Paisley than Josephine and Imelda put together.
Probably true. Okay, So you mentioned Persia. You said this didn't come from Scotland.
No.
So where does the name Paisley come from?
I'm glad you asked it. See, there's this town in Renfrewshire known as Scotland's largest town. And it's in the west central.
So smaller than a city?
I know why. Okay, I'll explain.
Okay.
It's not Scotland's largest city.
Right.
Scotland's largest town. So it's a big town. It's like the 5th largest community in Scotland.
Okay.
So pretty big. Let me tell you where it is. It's in west central lowlands of Scotland near Glasgow. And this particular area expanded significantly during the Industrial Revolution to become this global center of the weaving industry. They already had huge textile operations in this area, but in the Industrial Revolution, bam, it exploded.
Okay, wait. So you just mentioned a place called Renfrewshire?
That's the county.
Oh, so then what's the name of the town?
Oh, Paisley.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you talked about...
Paisley,
okay, I was totally confused.
Oh, yeah,
All right, okay.
So that's where we got the name. So it was the pattern, it was a boda, and then the Scottish ripped it off. And
Paisley and plaid go so well together. I can totally understand the attraction.
The Scots have got it completely covered, the whole spectrum of patterns from Paisley to plaid. So the town is called Paisley. The origins of the name Paisley are a little uncertain. It could be from an Old English term, paisa, which means clearing or pasture, or Gaelic translation is paisling, which is Paislig, also meaning, wooded, pasture, blah, blah, blah. But anywho, so there's no one's really sure where the word Paisley came from because it didn't matter back then. It was just where you lived. It was where the McCrackens lived or something like that. And then became this gigantic
Wait,
weaving.
You're talking about the Kraken, don't you mean Nessie?
Oh.
You're mixing your monsters up.
Okay, I am. All right. So how did the world come to know Paisley from Scotland then? Well, the weavers of Paisley, Scotland, they reverse engineered the patterns, and 18th century Scottish weavers actually, some sneaky bastards here. All right, I'm Scottish. Oh, yeah, so I'm a Scottish heritage, so I feel comfortable calling my people sneaky bastards. So 18th century Scottish weavers actually tried to smuggle silkworms and mulberry seeds into Scotland to cut India completely out of the trade.
So they were trying to just simply make their own silk.
Yes. Yeah.
That is sneaky.
Yeah, and, so they had already stolen the pattern, and then they were going to make their own silk. But that did not happen. They ended up using cotton and different types of threads. And there were these 2 venerable, gigantic textile organizations in Paisley, and they were trying to unravel the Paisley pattern mystery. Their names might sound familiar. Coates and Clark, maybe?
Okay.
You've heard of?
Well, I've heard of at least half of this. So, were you?
Well, Coates and Clark they're still around. Gigantic thread fabric company.
And the name is spelled the same? Like, are you related to these people?
Exactly the same. It's my people, Elliot.
Okay.
I have to introduce myself to these people now.
And get yourself a free Paisley shirt from them.
That's right. Anyway, they learned to mass produce this weaving in the Industrial Revolution.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm sure I'm related. I'm 100% sure I'm related. Our family is from that area of Scotland. It's the exact last name, spelled the same way. I just haven't found it yet. But I have a feeling if I go over there...
Oh, they'll welcome you with open arms, I'm sure.
They'll welcome me with open arms,
They will.
Yeah.
You'll get some whiskey, and you'll get, a free kilt.
I'll play bagpipes. I'll wear plaid on the bottom, Paisley on the top.
I cannot. We should go there together. Not that I'm not interested in any wardrobe changes myself. I'll go wearing my camo. Maybe I'll actually acquire some British camo, and then we can. I want to see you go clothes shopping in Paisley.
Dress like, and they're going to be like, aye, Yankees dressed like shite.
Man, that was.
And the other one's dressed like Nessie.
Which is which?
Okay. So the British Empire, let's say they appropriated Paisley. Is one of the motifs that sort of traveled around the world with the British Empire.
Yeah, the empire upon which the sun never sets, right?
Yeah. So soldiers brought back these cashmere shawls from different campaigns, making it very chic back home. As I said, they were sought after, so it was a literal war trophy turned fashion item.
I would have loved when they colonized India that they just brought them back, and the Indians are like, "Yeah, we've seen that."
And they're like, "Why are you smuggling silkworms in your pocket?"
The Silk Road passed right through here. Yeah, exactly.
But by the 19th century, this simple little pattern starts to divide people, Elliot. There's always drama, right?
Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay.
Here we go. In the Victorian era, so wearing the cheap machine-made Paisley shawls was like wearing knockoff Gucci today. It was the rich ladies just kind of sneered and
so that's obviously from Canal Street in New York City. That's from Chinatown.
Yeah. They were like, "Oh, that's knockoff Paisley from Chinatown," and they're like, "What's Chinatown, Vicky? I don't know."
But let's go get some dim sum after this.
So the pattern actually became a symbol of the haves and the have-nots. Hand loom weavers in Scotland, they started to riot against the mechanized looms that were mass producing Paisley. So the Paisley shawl actually becomes a symbol of both fashion and labor strife.
So this isn't related to the Luddites. This was like a totally different reason. This would be like Air May, workers rioting against like some mass scarf manufacturers.
Yeah, it's like you're ruining the craft of it by not doing it by hand.
Wow,
yeah, this was Industrial Revolution stuff. So not only was it like
it was the Industrial Counter-Revolution, Todd.
Yes, it was.
Okay, this is all fine and good, but I'm still not understanding how this became. I mean, I think today, as we're sitting here, most people, when they think of Paisley, they think of psychedelia. And of course, we just, had some episodes about the history of psychedelia. So how did that come about? Like, how did those two things it's kind of like peanut butter and chocolate, right? I think as soon as you look at Paisley and you think about psychedelic culture, the two were a match made in heaven. So how did this happen?
You're right. And when you start to think about it, remember, and listeners, go listen to our short series on psychedelia, and this will make a lot of sense.
If for no other reason than to hear Todd pronounce psilocybin.
or psilocybin.
Or whatever
psilocybin,
yeah. I don't know
anyway,
what you said.
So the swirling organic shapes of Paisley, that was adopted in the 60s counterculture because... surprise, it's a symbol of altered states and Eastern wisdom. Remember we talked about like the sort
Eastern
of opening
mysticism,
up.
Yeah.
And it was, it was blobby and...
Yeah, it was a lava lamp, man. You were wearing a lava lamp.
What did you say it was a planaria or...
I just said
what was the...
protozoa, like the bacteria.
Protozoa.
It was like a... slide from the biology lab,
Yeah, with the tail.
Yeah.
So,
look at this. Check out my mitochondria.
You should make a pattern out of that.
That's right.
Check out my mesothelioma pattern.
Christ.
Okay. Let me get back on topic here.
Check out my asbestos shirt.
So listeners might be familiar, and we'll post an image of this. John Lennon had his Rolls-Royce Phantom V painted in swirling paisleys in 1967.
I remember
that's considered like the ultimate psychedelic car.
That was another one I guess we could have talked about in our Iconic Cars episode.
We have to do another episode about iconic cars. There are just so many of those.
Yeah, I agree.
So who wouldn't want to drive around in a hallucination? Hallucination. Who would not love to drive around in a hallucination? Right?
I feel like I'm in one right now.
But as you mentioned, Paisley shirts started to invade Carnaby Street in London, which was home of the Mods, and Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco. So it really started being known as kind of your mod pattern.
Yeah, I remember Ralph Lauren ties in the 90s having this, it's kind of yuppified at that point, right? Again, it was sort of counterculture going mainstream, becoming legitimized. So this has been around in one form or another forever.
Yes, it has. So if you think about Paisley, basically evolves from sacred fire, royal shawls, factory riots, LSD trips, power ties, Prince's universe, and even street gangs most recently. Because Bloods were wearing red Paisley and Crips are wearing blue Paisley.
Yeah, so, the bandanas.
The bandanas, yeah, which is a whole other thing. Like, I'm not even talking about bandanas because that has its whole history, but there's Paisley pattern all over that. And, what about the bandana code, Elliot? Like, we can't get into all of that because, like you said before, we would be here for days.
Okay, but I want to rewind to something else.
Okay.
You had mentioned Prince briefly, which
I did.
Todd, for you, is completely out of character because you never talk about Prince.
No.
I would say, boy, if you die and you end up in heaven and Adam West, Batman, and Prince aren't there waiting for you, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah, I will be in hell.
I'll be in hell you will. If that's you will. It'll be Robin and it'll be Herbie the Love Bug. Okay, but Prince, of course, his studio was called Paisley Park, which I think a lot of people know. So how did that all come about?
And you're right. And thank you for asking, Elliot. Yes, I have eaten pancakes at Paisley Park
before.
So
I asked that.
Thank you for asking about that. Yeah, I did tour Paisley Park. It's part of my Mecca.
Was this when Prince had passed away, or was he still alive at this point?
No, he wasn't alive. But I pretended he was. I pretended he invited me to eat pancakes there. But yeah, we did.
I'm envisioning
security guard was
like the keyboard riff from like when doves cry, like ding 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 ding. Come eat my breakfast. Ding,
come
ding,
eat
ding,
my
ding.
pancakes. You'd like some pancakes?
That's right. This is what it sounds like when Todd chews. Ding. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, so Paisley Park is named after his 1985 single about this wonderful imaginary place you go to in your heart, Elliot. It's Paisley Park, and it's from his album Around the World in a Day, which is this probably one of his more trippy albums, sort of straight out of the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour.
Okay.
He defines it as it symbolizes life, love, and laughter.
Kind of like when you're wearing your plaid and paisley together. That's life,
that's
love,
life,
and a lot of laughter. Okay.
Emphasis on the laughter.
Yeah. So is Paisley Park shaped like a paisley?
Well, you would think, but no, sadly. It's more like a giant spaceship or like a Costco.
It's a rectangular spaceship. Okay.
It's like a giant warehouse with a silo in the backyard.
and a kitchen that serves pancakes, apparently.
All hours, okay.
So it's an IHOP. It's an IHOP connected to a Costco. Paisley Park. Okay. Got it.
But speaking of Magical Mystery Tour, we covered a lot of ground, man. Camo, Paisley, a bit of textile history. We traveled around the world, didn't we?
We sure did, which reminds me about an upcoming trip I happen to have planned.
Really? I didn't know that. Where are you going?
Out the door before the bartender asks us about the tab.
Bro.
I plan to use everything I've learned about camouflage and stealth within the next 60 seconds.
I bet you do. Something tells me my cash is about to disappear as well. See you soon, everyone.
Bye. Ding, 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 ding. Todd's eating pancakes.